If you were to tell your neighbor what a desire is, what would you tell them? So I'm going to give you a few seconds to write it down. Don't cheat. Don't look up Google. Don't look at the dictionary. What would you say? What would you say to your neighbor or your friend or your daughter or your child what a desire is? Somebody comes to you and says, hey, what's a desire? So desire, these are the words and the terms that I've pulled out from the Webster's Dictionary. A desire is a strong feeling of, strongly wish for, long for, yearn for, crave, hankering after, be desperate for. There's a young man. There was a young man that wanted to be like the sage in the village. And this sage, this wise man, was healthy, wealthy, and wise. And he had everything anyone ever needed or wanted. So this young man comes to this old wise man and he says, listen, teach me your ways. Teach me what you got. I want to be like you. I want to live like you. I want to experience life like you. I want to be healthy, wealthy, and wise. And he's like, come back when you have a real desire. Dejected, the youth turns around and his shoulders are slumped and he turns away and he's like thinking, I thought I did have a desire. I want to be just like this man. And he goes away and he's a little dejected and he comes back 2 weeks later and he's like, hey, listen, teach me your ways. I've got a true desire. I'm convinced and I want to convince you that I want to be just like you. And the old wise sage looks at the youth and he says, I can't teach you until you have a true desire. Come back when you have a desperate desire. Dejected, the youth walks away and he's like, what can I do to convince this old wise man? And so then he goes and turns around the very, very next day and comes to the old wise man and says, hey, listen, show me your way. Teach me your way. Without saying a word, the old wise man passes the youth and starts going through the village and goes down to the water and doesn't stop at the water's edge. And to not to lose his opportunity, the youth turns around and follows after him. And then he's thinking, okay, he's going to teach me something here by the water's edge. And the old wise man doesn't stop at the water's edge and he goes into the water until he's waist deep. The youth falls behind him and the old wise man turns around, looks at the youth without saying a word, grabs, puts his hand behind his neck and thrusts his head underneath the water. The youth thinking, what is he doing here? A few seconds go by, more seconds go by, which feels like minutes to this youth. It's starting to go dark. His arms are starting to flail. He's starting to kick his legs and he's about to lose consciousness when the old wise man brings his head out of the water. Gasping for air, the young man turns to the old wise man and in disgust and anger says, why did you do that to me? And the old wise man taught this youth a lesson of a lifetime. And he looked him right in the eyes and he says, until you want to learn as bad as you want that breath of air, then can I teach you? You guys, how bad do you want it? Where is your desire? What is the level of your desire? Do you even know what a desire is? And how do we develop a desire?